Hello, sir.
Did that work all right?
Yeah. Give me a nice ringtone to tell me
Oh,
you're
I,
calling.
I did it 3 times at this end, so
Odd. I don't know. Yeah,
technology, isn't it?
so it goes, isn't it?
There's always some little thing when you want it most and you want to set up a VPN for someone. Will it work? No. Why won't it
Won't
work?
it?
They're on
Yeah.
Windows.
The old story.
Yeah, got there in the end though. Just ran off for some migraine tablets because I can feel it coming on. I can got that tasted metal in my mouth.
Yeah.
That's the sign for
That's
me.
work.
Yeah. Does it work? I suppose it is because you just walk in the office and stuff just starts happening. Every morning you wake up and you go, "Oh, I'll write a list of things I hope to achieve this day." And then you get in the office and you get one done, and then it just all goes like that, doesn't it? Like
Yeah, every
somewhere
time,
else.
unfortunately.
I'm almost there with the old machine of death.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks all right, but it's not IDM all right yet. It feels smooth. It's smooth,
Yeah.
and then you paint it, and it dries, and it looks crap again. So you sand
Yeah.
it and you go, oh, that's nice. And you paint it again and it looks rubbish again.
There's always something. How are you attaching the front cartridge?
Um, quite honestly, I've put magnets
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. I thought it was magnets originally. Yeah.
in there, but I also make it an extreme force fit.
Yeah.
Because when you're on a cosplay and you're going like this and you're doing photos all the time, the amount of guys who lose them or they fall out and they smash, you know. And I'm
Rubber
not,
versions with magnets.
yeah. Well, the magnets are so small, you really need 1/2 inch ones to hold it
Yeah.
in there super strong. The little ones just aren't strong enough. And I'm not putting that stupid gear thing in here either.
Yeah.
That makes it look like a clockwork toy, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's just wrong. You just have the bullets showing. That's it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You wouldn't have clockworks on it. I mean, it's supposed to be future technology. Would you really have clockworks showing that can jam? Somebody goes up with a pin, doesn't work
Yeah,
anymore. Yeah,
yeah.
clever.
And also the diameter, to get into the technical like I do, the diameter of that gear, it can't revolve within the space it's in because when you look at the circumference of the thing,
Yeah,
it'll be keep hitting in the back or something.
it's idiotic, isn't it? You just
And it,
wouldn't use that technology. I mean, why would you use
no,
gears? No. There would be another
well,
way
no,
of doing it, wouldn't there?
and if it was a geared system, it would have to be on some cam so it lifts the bullets or rotates them around through the stack like a car park in America. Yeah,
Doesn't make
one
any
little
sense.
gear just relates to
Yeah.
no mechanism at all. When everyone goes, "Oh, it's got to be screen accurate," well, yeah, it's got to be technology accurate
So
as
has it
well.
got glass either side as well? So when they're manufacturing these for real life, they would put glass either side. Otherwise, the gears would get clogged up with, sand and debris and stop working.
Yes, yeah, but
But in
you're
reality, you wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't need the glass because you just have the bullets in there and they just go through.
yeah, worked out a really nice way to get the screens looking all right. Oh, where are we going?
There we go. Yeah,
Oh, look, really reflective. There you are.
that's it. It's reflective, isn't it?
Yeah, so what do? I get the piece of paper and then I put the acetate on it.
Yeah.
Oh, then I put sellotape on the back. And then then I just had tiny little sellotape tabs on the front because that's where it fits inside. That's
So you're
hang
not printing straight onto acetate sheets.
No,
Okay.
then
Because I
that
would have said
fits.
that was an option, isn't it? Overhead projector sort of film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll do, won't it?
And I remodeled the back of it so there's a divot that it fits
Yeah.
inside. So it's perfectly flush. Because I really only want to glue the end pieces
Yeah.
onto it. And it's going to go this side.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have to sand this so I get a really good bond at those two ends. And then I expect after that, I'm going to have to put masking tape over the top of that. And then I'm going to have to fill it because it's not going to, there's going to be,
Magnets. Magnets again.
oh,
Just magnet
magnets.
it.
Yes.
Just use magnets. It can be taken off
Oh,
the chain.
magnets!
There's too many magnets. None of your computers work anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you lift up your gun and go, whoa.
Yeah.
So,
Getting stuck to
Cylon
everybody.
walks
Yeah.
past. Whoa.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it? Yeah. They've got chainmail. Bugger.
You pick it up and goes,
Yeah.
or sticks on your head or something. Oh, yeah.
Classic.
God, it takes
How
a
did
long
you collect
time.
all those props? I just walked through it. They all magnetized straight to my outfit.
Yeah. I had to think how long I've spent on doing this. I mean, it's not cheap
I
for me
wouldn't.
to do it.
I wouldn't think of it.
It's days and days and days, and I know a lot of it's waiting for paint, but it's still it's days and days, and especially now when it takes a good 3 days for the paint to dry hard enough so that you can actually sand it smooth again.
Hairdryer. Hairdryer.
Mm,
That's what a lot of people use.
watch the paint bubble. Yeah.
As long as you're careful, not too
Yeah.
hot, just a little bit at a time, and you can get on with the next layer of paint.
I could put it in the bamboo printer. You know how it dries filament? Maybe it'll
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe it'll
Put it in
dry
the oven.
my models. Yeah. Yeah, put it in the dehumidifier. Yeah.
It's got to be an option, isn't there? There must
Maybe
be
there is an
some.
option. I mean, thing is, every time you have an idea, you need another meter of worktop because you
Yeah.
want a sandblaster, then you want a dehumidifier, then you want a vac former, then you want a dust vacuum sanding table, then you need a lathe, then you need a, and then you go, oh God, I've got nowhere to pack all these products up, let alone store them.
You mean I've got nowhere to sit and nowhere for the computer? Yeah.
Yes, I know. I'll go out and get a unit for, $3,000 a month somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to heat that because the paint's not drying. Oh, we've come full circle again.
And then in the summer, you go, I'm melting. I'm melting.
Yeah, summer. Yeah, well, you come to work and the door's been wretched open and all your kit's been nicked. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Is it really
Good
worth it? I don't know. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
worth it.
You got space for a second home office,
Well, yeah. Yes,
spare bedroom. Lots of options.
oh, there's lots of land.
Double the space. Can you knock a wall down and extend?
No, we always wanted to buy the garden next door because these days people don't want much garden. The houses in the street that only have like 5 meters at the back, just a plot to sit in a
Yeah.
chair and have a barbecue and low maintenance, they sell instantly. And the
Yeah.
ones that have a long garden like ours take maybe a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So I was hoping the people at the end would, because they look very much like modern people who have to have every object under the sun. And we were hoping I was going to go and buy his land off him. And, the land's only worth like 1,200 quid because you don't get planning permission with it if you buy it like that. But if you wanted to buy it, that everyone thinks, oh, they're buying it so they can build a house on it and make 500,000. So I expected, knowing him a wee bit, he'd turn around and he'll go 75 grand. But no, that would be ideal because then I could just have 2 containers delivered and be brilliant.
Yeah. That's a good way of doing it.
Mm. But that's one of the
Yeah.
Friday night pub dreams, isn't it?
Yeah.
It all seems so easy. Oh, we'll just put a unit down there and run some electricity in, and it'll be up by Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Amazon sell those mini houses now, don't they?
Oh, do they? Are they flat
Yeah.
pack? They crane them
Yes.
in.
Basically, yeah, and I think they were about 10 or 12 grand or something.
Oh, that's good,
Which,
isn't it?
you know.
That's really cheap depending on the size of it because most garden offices, those trendy garden offices that once you got a table and 2 chairs in, you can't move around in.
Yeah. I mean, my one cost 4.5,
Did it?
which isn't bad. I mean, it's all wood construction, but what more do you want?
Yeah, I suppose when we converted and extended the garage, oh God, how long ago now is that? 20 years or more.
I was going to say, do you work in decades or?
Yes, I do. Yeah. 20 years ago, probably. And I
Yeah.
think to have it flattened and a prefab put up and to clad it and to wire it and to plaster it, put in a raised floor and everything, I think it was 4.5 grand.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we looked at doing our garage first as extending it and everything else, but It's also connected to next door's garage because they're both interconnected. Doesn't have a proper roof and everything else. We just went, forget it. Just make sure we've got a concrete base and buy something. It's a
Yeah.
lot easier. And this
Yeah.
came with the electricity and everything all plumbed in and
Oh wow,
everything
that's
else.
great,
So
isn't it?
it was a really, all the lighting was done. Wood clad on the inside. Yeah, everything was done. All the power sockets, the lot, all for one
Oh,
price.
did some guys assemble it?
Yeah, took them a couple of days. They came
Oh,
in,
did it?
fixed it all
Oh,
together. Yeah,
yeah.
proper windows on it, lockable windows as well, double
Yeah.
glazed. You know, you could choose which side you wanted the front door. If you want it on the side or on the
Yeah.
front or wherever you want to put it. It even came with a security light on the outside.
Yeah. I suppose it's like a Hoff house, only it's a Hoff business.
Yeah,
Or a
that's
Hoff,
it.
yeah, freelance unit or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, they're not a bad option because they're not permanent buildings, so you don't need planning permission. It's like a garden shed. You don't need planning permission because it's
Yeah,
not a
'cause-
fixed structure.
yeah, essentially it's temporary.
Yes.
And so is this because it was a modular concrete walled thing, even though the garage was here already, and that was modular concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's an option. These sort of ones, for that sort of price, you can plonk it anywhere. You just need to have a concrete base. That's it.
Yeah.
Done. There's a lot
Yeah.
of these sort of ones around. The prices, I mean, you go to garden centres and some of their home offices are absolutely superb.
Yeah.
Then you see the price tag, 20 grand.
I
Oh, I don't
know.
know about that.
I mean, even a kind of 8x4 shed now is 800 quid, 800
Yeah,
quid. Might be more than
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I think
The
when
thing is,
we
people are
bought one,
converting
we
them more, aren't they?
winced. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no cheap options anymore, is there? More people working from home, they sort of go, oh, they could use this. There's a money spinner.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. But there's got to be a way around it. I mean, we were looking at building a second one because we've got a jacuzzi for the garden.
Oh, have you?
One
Of
of those
course.
inflatable ones. Of course, you would have, but
Yes, in
it,
London.
with no roof or anything, we just kind of had to just put some temporary measures up, like put a gazebo up, and then it blows down in the wind, and you need a permanent structure. So we were looking at a sort of garden shed that's got an extension on the side, that's got a roof on it, so you could put it under there, so you're not indoors, but you're not outdoors either, to kind of best of
Yeah.
both worlds.
I really love those sails that you have on 3 poles or something, which you
We
concrete.
did do that as well, but the problem is the poles. We just linked everything up with the structures we had,
Yeah.
but they're not all weatherproof. So eventually they rip and,
Yeah, they do, don't they? Yeah.
they don't last that long. But that's what we did originally.
Yeah, even those even the ones in those in the hotels that are all, canvas or fiberglass, they soon deteriorate. Ultraviolet light's a killer, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got one at the archery club I go to, and that's really good. It's permanent. It's more like a permanent one. But the problem is, strong winds came along, blew it off.
Did it?
Yeah, we had to go and buy another one. And they take it down now anytime there's really bad weather.
Better than a blow off than a blow up. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Or not. Yeah.
or not. Depends on the situation. How's that coming along?
It's quite good. We've got wires on now. And we've been connecting to the steppers and testing them. But now I need to get a whole load of DuPont connector type 2, 3, and 4 pin extension leads because it's called the umbilical connector 3D print unit, which can connect to any printer as long as you get your printer config right. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a unit box, and it's going to have this umbilical cord with all the connections you need on it. And then you can plug it straight into all your stepper drivers and your thymistors and your probes and everything. And apart from cabling it up and making it look nice after that, it's really good. You just plug it into Ethernet and it all pops up on a web browser, and you see Clipper there all firing away. And Ronnie's helping me, and he's teaching me how to do all of that. It's so much easier than G code once you have a good teacher.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you can it's a bit like old programming on the BBC Micro. You have routines where you have all the variables in, and you just call them from somewhere else, and it's all set up. So as soon as you make a routine for PLA or ABS, it just appears as a button in the interface.
That's good.
Like you just go, oh, it's an ABS job, and it's all just resets all these things ready for that job straight away.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's more user friendly, isn't it?
Yeah, great having an interface. Than plugging away at a screen all the time. And the ultimate thing is that you could just You know, you could have 3 or 4 printers together and you could just swap them over. But this is a kind of a halfway house between the older machines, which are mechanically solid and great, but the software and the logic boards have had their days.
Yeah.
So you can just do a heart bypass really and get
It's
it
not a
going.
bad option. There's so many that are just kind of
Mm.
not as usable as they used to be. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, you sit there and you think, oh, I'd love to buy some of those big Alagoo machines that they do now, and I'd like to buy that, and I'd like a meter cubed one and everything. And you think, why am I always buying the same bits time and time again? You know, and I've been watching the guys on YouTube and Facebook, especially. Forget what his name is, but he's really nice. And he takes those terrible old trunksy ones, which have got a terrible reputation, but he
Yeah.
buys them for the frame because that's
Okay.
really economic.
Yeah.
Because if you buy the frame parts individually, it's really expensive and tedious, and you got to cut it all
Yeah.
up, the metal. So he just buys those, then he just guts them and puts one of these on, and then he's moved away from lead screws for moving the bed up and down. He's done it in belts, and
Okay.
everyone went, "Oh, it's a bad idea. That won't work." And God, the quality he's got and the ease of maintenance is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it would be. I mean,
Peter
you're not so
Camp, I
worried about.
think he's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, because that's one of the things that seems to go is that bloody coil gets stuck because there's bits of filament have got junk in it.
Yeah.
It just gets clogged up because that's what a screw does.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But a belt
binding.
doesn't.
Mm.
That's not a bad idea because you also don't get all the grease on it, which helps the 3D filament stick to it.
Yeah, everyone said to him, "Your belts will stretch," but that's the point of these belts; they just don't stretch. And
Yeah.
if you get the good ones, I've got the ones with fiberglass strand in them, so they're not just a rubber belt; they're actually like a car belt. Only
Yeah.
car fan belts and timing chain type belts and things all have wire in them, don't they, to make them really
Yeah.
industrial? And these other ones have got fiberglass or carbon fiber in them, and they don't stretch.
That's a good idea, isn't it? I can't see that. Yeah, that kind of it makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to me.
I mean, the belts are nothing's
Hmm.
cheap, but I mean, a gorgeous lead screw is probably, I don't know, 80 to 140 pounds each.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know.
we'll have to sit down and review one of his videos.
Yeah.
He's a bit larger than life, but he's so helpful when you chat to him and everything. And the
Yeah.
quality he's getting is phenomenal. And eventually he's running it all on Clipper, but eventually he'll get the speed slowly upping as well.
Yeah. Well, that could be quite interesting, couldn't it?
Yeah. Yes, very good. I don't know where I'm going to put a 1 meter cube printer though.
That new office we were just talking about.
Yes.
It's going to have to
For the
be.
printer itself.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can buy 3D printers which are delivered in containers, and they're actually industrial ones. I think I saw one at the print show I went to in Glasgow, and of course, you know, the container is part of the frame as well, and they're huge. You know, they're like 2 meters by 2 meters by one and a
Yeah.
half meters for the height. They're just going for it non-stop with a 2 millimeter nozzle, building furniture and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's really nice.
Well, it's
Really
another
fun.
way forward, isn't it? I was surprised to see that chocolate 3D printer is on its second version now and doing strong, because I didn't think that would go anywhere. I thought that's just a bit of a gimmick,
Yeah.
but it seems to be taken off quite well now.
Suppose that takes cooling to another level, doesn't
It
it?
does, doesn't it? Yeah, you can imagine that, can't you?
Yeah,
I
be
mean,
like,
having
you know, the people who took 3D printing and they're now pumping resin through it and heating and setting it with the ultraviolet light like a 3D printer, but with an
yeah,
FDM process. And I
it's the
suppose
same with
now
the
they're going
chocolate, isn't it?
to have, you know, CO2 or liquid nitrogen coming out to freeze it as it comes on.
Well, with the chocolate one, it dries quite quickly once it comes out, but the hardest part is keeping it liquid inside the container, because it has to be liquid before it goes through the nozzle. So it's not
Yeah.
the nozzle heating it up, it's
Mm.
the liquid chocolate within the container. So it's almost the opposite way around. So instead of heating up the nozzle, as you say, you'd need to cool it down, but I don't think you need to do much, because molten chocolate doesn't take long to harden
No,
up, does it?
no, it doesn't.
But that is the hard part, getting the temperature right on the liquid chocolate, so it's not too hot, it's not too cold, and a consistent temperature.
Oh, it's just right. This
Yeah,
porridge is
exactly.
too hot. This porridge is too
That's it.
cold.
I
But the
mean, you can
liquid
imagine.
chocolate's just right.
Well, surely on that process as well, you've got to be more cautious about the environmental temperature as well. what room is it in? How cold is it today? Do you have to wait for the whole room to warm up? Because that'll change your specific temperature that you're melting the chocolate at, and maintaining that temperature.
I suppose it's not gravity fed. They might be using a sausage drill or something to
basically syringe. Yeah, that's basically that kind of option.
Can you get endless syringes?
Well, you only have a certain amount of liquid, don't you, in there? Because you've got to maintain the temperature. So the whole container has to be kept at that temperature.
All right.
So you've only got a limited supply, haven't you? Unless you could then have another one and another one and another one all linked up.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were extruding it, and I was just wondering if the whole mechanical process added to the weight. Sorry, to the heat temperature.
It's worth looking at, but I can see the reasons for having it. I mean, hotels and things doing bespoke chocolates, some restaurants, it could be quite a good one, but
kids parties doing pictures on top and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're actually 3D printing like the Eiffel Tower models and things like that, and Benchy models. Because why not? I mean, to me, that's the ideal thing. Anything you can print on a normal printer, in theory, you could do most of them in chocolate.
Be like inside the factory. Today we're going to a chocolate factory. Oh, how amazing! Yeah.
Can you get a 3D printer to make a cup of tea?
Yeah. Yes, well, we could have a cold chocolate in a cold chocolate cup. Yeah. Until the kid bites through it. Yeah.
Makes you wonder what other kind of materials people haven't thought about. Anything that could be melted and put back into its solid state could be used for 3D printed material.
Yeah, or people themselves. Yeah.
Or people themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your Benchy made out of? Oh, skin and bone.
Yeah, it's made out of grandma. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not getting. You're not. Yeah. I want to play with grandma. You're not extruding her again. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, that could go quite wrong, couldn't it?
Yeah, it'll be like.
How did you dispose of that body then? Well, let me put you through the process.
Yes, you're eating it.
Yeah. No, you see that model ship over there? Well, the hull is made from.
A bit like the Fifth Element, isn't it? When they make Lulu back in that box and they kind of 3D print it from her hand.
Well, there is a guy that's already 3D printed a miniature version of a working heart. So they think they can actually 3D print a full-size heart and use that instead of waiting for transplants.
Yeah.
I mean,
I turned on Amazon Prime the other day, which we've got for a short while because we had a lot to buy and deliver and stuff, and watched Fallout, which I think is on Paramount through Prime. Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Waiting for season 2.
Yeah, wasn't it fantastic? I mean, good. The whole kind of 50s that never existed tone and quality to the whole thing was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's got some really good parts in it. It's. I mean, you probably never played any of the games, have you? But
no, I haven't. No time for that for some reason.
Yeah, I can't think why. I mean, get a life,
Yeah, I'll tell you what my exciting life consists of an evening. Villa.
Yeah.
Villa for my battleship.
Yeah. Still working on it.
And then I wonder why, the filler, I seem to be using a lot of filler because it was all falling through the cracks. So now I've had to seal it up.
All right. Okay.
On the inside as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I love filling. It's really good. It's the sanding afterwards, which... Well,
I mean, there are other options you've got is like a 3D print pen to fill the gaps and then using like a soldering iron to smooth it out.
I did try the 3D print pen on some very large gaps that were in that, like 2 mil or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those beautiful soldering irons which have the little angle heads on them and things. That looks quite nice, but yes, that would fill it too.
It's more of, I was thinking for the inside, it could be a way to fill it, to do all the gaps, isn't it? Any gaps you've got on the areas that aren't going to be seen, you just fill it with 3D printing filament like that.
Maybe from the back first instead of from the front. Yeah,
exactly. You do all that, and it just you can work it quicker on the inside because you're not worried about the mess.
Yeah.
I mean, you could use super glue.
It's an endless battle to get something smooth, isn't it? I mean, that looks averagely all right on the screen.
Yeah. Screen accurate.
No, it's not. But then it looks better. Well, it's probably one of the closest you can get. But looking at all the other guys' stuff they bring on, and then they split it into 3 parts. So I'm thinking, yeah, that's going to be great, isn't it? That's going to warp like no tomorrow.
That's the thing, isn't it? The more pieces you use, the less chance you've got it, because it's all coming from different areas and different thicknesses. And but that's the thing. If you're making out of 1 or 2 pieces, you've got more chance of warping, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Or you print it out of resin and then it's really brittle, and you've still got to fill it because resin warps.
Yeah.
With a mind of its own, differently for every volume of geometry. So it's yeah. You can use it for industrial purposes, and I've done it for all kinds of small projects. But you print it, you have to print it once, or you have to print it a few times because it doesn't always print first time because every geometry is different again.
Yeah.
And then you get it, and then you leave it until it dries. So it's not a rush job for the client; they have to wait. So I leave it for about 3 days, and then I measure it because it's shrunk, and then I oversize my model and print it again to get as close as I can. And trying to get to within 0.2 millimeters every 2 inch. I can do it, but it takes time, takes money.
Yeah, it's coming down to a different 3D printing process, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, looking at some like the nylon ones where it's the fused powder instead. I mean, that seems to be really stable and really accurate.
It does look
nice.
There's
no shrinkage on that, and it's a good material, but
it's 0.05.
Yeah.
0.05. Yeah. Which is fine, but no good for aircraft. But yeah.
No, but other bits and pieces,
it
could be quite good. And it is, I mean, there's no shrinkage or anything like that to worry about on it. I mean, they're perfectly solid pieces.
See some of those fantastic companies in Asia, and they've got 3D printing vats, haven't they? The ones that the table drops down, and they're laser done. There's a name for all these things, but the mind fills up, and they're like a meter and a half high, almost a meter by about a meter deep. And you see it, and it starts off, and it goes down, and you think, "Oh, what's this going to be?" And it comes up, and it's either got one massive gearbox housing on it, or it's got like 800 things, and they've just all come out perfectly.
Yeah. I dread to think how much those machines cost. I mean, that's
well, you look at them, and they've got like 36 of them in the office, all running flat out. Yeah.
And
I love the people who do those silicon molds.
Yeah.
And inject them with polyurethane or whatever, and they just come out really well. And you can see that they've sped up the molding process, and they kind of get the object, and they literally just dump it into a load of semi-clear silicon, and it sets hard. And they've cut it out with a Stanley knife or something, so that becomes the tongue and groove placement afterwards. Absolutely brilliant. They make it all look so easy, but there must have been years of development going into that.
Yeah, it's the bit people don't see, unfortunately. They just see the end product and go, "Oh, that was easy. I'm going to do that." And you think, oh, no, you're not.
And a lot of employees, which I would assume are on worse than minimum wage, but the technology is incredible.
Yeah, it's surprising what people can come up with. But again, you need the time and the resources to do it. I mean, it's a quit your day job and do that all day. It's
you don't. As you read all the business things, you have to play a 30-year long game, don't you?
Yeah.
Where you make negative for the first 10 years, you break even for the next 10, and if it's still going, you make a hideous killing for the next 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's all it's how do you do it with a family and a life and everything else? It's all
you have to start before that.
Well, that's the kind of thing we've gone past that point, and it's now with the other end of the spectrum now.
I'm a bit further on. Eventually, they leave home.
Doesn't mean you've got more time though.
When they get to about 14 to 16, they have left home. They're only sleeping there, and they go to university, and that's it.
Yeah, that's where we are now.
And then you go, oh, we could sell the house and move to Yorkshire.
Well, we've already been discussing that.
yeah, because it's lovely.
Well, as soon as my daughter's finished school and then is into college and everything else, we're going to consider what else is around and what else to do. And it depends what's happening with Heathrow. Are they demolishing our house? Are they not? Are we going to be, surrounded by aeroplanes? We don't know what's happening. So that could make a big impact on everything as well. But yes, I have started the subject. Yes. We'll put it that way.
And then I rolled 2 5s.
Yes.
and ended up
6 and 8.
Yes. And ended up in Glasgow. which is a
Yeah,
lovely city, of course.
of course. Be careful what you say.
Well, it is actually a lovely
Yeah.
city.
No, I haven't been there actually. It's
Oh,
somewhere I
yeah.
haven't traveled that much in the UK because we do Malaysia every year. It's kind of difficult to have any time to do anything else because that's the whole summer gone, and that's like a big holiday, isn't it? So we
The
don't get
video
much time.
might stop in a minute, and I'm going to let it encode, and then I'll be back. Should it disappear?
Yeah, yeah. Easiest way to do it. I haven't got a time. Is there a timer on it? Yes, there is. 9:44.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Glasgow. I mean, I'm probably thinking that in the '60s and the '70s, everywhere was a bit rough.
Yeah.
Even London, when I arrived, was the nice bits were nice, but the rest of it,
Yeah, some areas still are. I would have said. You know, it's
yeah.
kind of it's difficult, isn't it? Oh, you got that anywhere. It doesn't matter where you live, does it? There's always
But
going to be an area you go, "Ooh, what about that?"
the whole city of culture thing that Glasgow got really helped, and it really helped Newcastle as well.
Yeah.
Totally transformed it. It didn't happen instantly, but a bit like Hull as well. They managed to get the roads and the pavements and the fascias done, and it gave such a feel-good feeling to the population that in the following 10 years it naturally was like a new beginning. And Glasgow is absolutely fantastic now. It's really
Mm.
unique. So much
It's nice
art
when
and
they do that.
design.
We had exactly the same sort of thing happen in Cardiff as well. I mean,
Mm.
that was it was getting rough in some areas, and the last time I went, I didn't recognise half of it. I mean, it's changed so much over the years, you know.
Yeah,
Because I used to be there almost every weekend, but now a couple of times a year, maybe.
I think we went
Yeah,
just after COVID. And that was really changing. They were still doing a lot of roadworks around the library and the museum area.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's changed so much now. I didn't recognise half of it
And it was
because we
quite
stayed
nice
there. So
because all the kind of unique boutique coffee shop, bookshop, modeling shop,
yeah,
artist shops come and make some pottery. It was a real community growing. It's
yeah,
going back to a proper city again.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's nice to see it starting to go back to its roots a bit more, and as you say, all the little arty sort of places rather than just the big chain things. It's
Yeah,
nice, like a little arcades going through the streets where it's got all the old shops and everything. So
yeah.
much nicer to shop in those.
We've got a different population with young people who, wonder if they'll ever have a house and stuff like that. So they're they're living for the now and releasing the money for today on all these
Yeah,
smaller kind of entertainments and things, which is what the economy needs. The economy uh, gets better because people release cash because they're
yeah,
more confident. Or yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's funny
cash
how
in the
things
pocket
go.
goes a long way, doesn't it? Raising taxes and trying to build something isn't always the best answer. I mean, we need a lot of stuff rebuilt or privatized, I think. But it's people making the decisions with the cash that seems to do the best.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So
Well,
vote for me for prime minister.
I was going to say, compared to what we've got at the moment, I'd like to see almost anybody in there instead of them. We need some people that aren't from that same background, that all of them are from the same college, same
Yeah,
neck of the woods.
yeah.
It's not reality, is it? They've
We
never
need to
lived in the
get
real
we
world.
need to get out of the way of the young people and let them have their turn.
Yeah, to a
Yeah,
certain it depends. Well, there's certain demographic you're not interested in. The ones that do all the influencer stuff on a regular basis, maybe not let them be in charge of anything because again, they don't live in the real world. You
no,
need the ones that are actually going out and getting real jobs and real struggles.
yeah,
Not I've just uploaded a video and got 20,000 this month.
yeah. You
Or
need you
yeah,
need people that have been there and experienced it,
yes,
which is all right for the older statesman politicians. That information is quite valuable because life does cycle round and
yeah,
things come around again, but it needs a different solution each time. But it's nice to have somebody there, a bit like scouting, who goes, I've seen this before 15 years ago. What we did then was
yes,
this,
yeah,
and what didn't
yeah,
work out of that was this.
yeah. All you don't need it starting again. Scrap everybody and get new blood in there.
Like
It's the thing.
Fallout.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to have a
Yeah,
mixture. You've got to have the good older ones that can kind of help without
yeah,
getting involved too much. Just be there as the voice of reason, going, "Well, I'm not sure about that because we did this," as you
yeah.
say. But you need the ones with the new ideas and people that have actually been out there and live on this, in the normal neighborhoods.
Yeah. Lived on the street, started a business,
Yeah, exactly.
tried
Yeah.
to tried to build a factory and sell internationally in today's market, and
Yes.
in the last 15 years.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
ideal, isn't it? That is what we're missing more than
yeah.
anything else. But I was talking to a guy in work. His son is doing politics in university, and the big thing is, if you don't get into the right college, you will not be accepted as a politician in the UK because they're all expected to come from the same stock. Basically, if you haven't been educated in the right place, you will never make it. Well, why? Why? Surely you want people from different walks of life, from different colleges, different parts of the country. Not, oh, they all went to Eton. Well, they're the only ones we're going to pick then. It's a bit, narrow-minded, isn't it?
Well, it's a 50,000-year lesson we need to unlearn, isn't it?
Yeah. How things could have been different if that war had gone different, isn't it? If they'd lost.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's what we need to do again. Let's have another civil war. It's
Yes. What's that?
get rid of the politicians, do something else.
Was that Napoleon or the Battle of Rhodes? Or was it the Neanderthals coming in?
It goes round and about, doesn't it? How many times has it happened? But is it time for a new, fresh beginning? We've had this kind of politics going for long enough. Is it time for something new?
I've always been amazed about Star Trek when supposedly they have a moneyless economy. I've always, when I've had a spare moment, just tried to work that one out. And though I don't have an answer, it's an interesting idea, isn't it?
It is, but who wants to do the shitty jobs?
Well, yeah.
I always wondered that as well. But then as soon as you got onto Deep Space Nine, it's like, oh, look, money's here. It's...
Yeah.
For certain places still needed it.
Yeah, I often look at people doing difficult jobs like the bin men and everything. Yes. I kind of think, God, you're worth 60 or 80 grand a year because I just couldn't do that. Cold, again, physically difficult, repetitive.
The thing is, though, some people they enjoy their job. I mean, that's got to be what it is. So I think if you didn't have any sort of currency, it would be job satisfaction, something that you're good at, you enjoy doing, and that's what you do all day, regardless of any monetary value out of it, because there isn't any. So all the houses would have to be the same.
I think that was the Star Trek thing. I suppose part of the background theory of that was if you do what you love, then
it's its own reward.
Yeah, it's its own reward, and you're not focused on gathering together. Gathering assets and meaningless bits of tat together and having more tat than the man next.
But then how do you get... But then I suppose because you've got replicators and everything else, you don't physically go into a shop and go, oh, that's a nice vase, or that's a nice ring. Can I afford it? Because you couldn't have different quality variations and cost variations, because if there's no money, how do you quantify which one you can have?
I was speaking to some young people who are getting married in a couple of months, and they had their ring designed and made by a craftsman. And, if you are going to spend, hundreds, if not early thousands on a ring, or, 1,200, 1,800 quid or something, why not give it to a craftsperson instead of having one that's mass manufactured and only costs them 150 quid to make?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sensible move, isn't it?
I know someone's business fails and someone's business grows, but there is that kind of choice that you don't always want something everyone else has got, and there's no opportunity often to have something unique, is there?
Yeah. Well, this comes back down to the argument recently with Marvel's latest poster for Fantastic Four. The controversy being, was it AI generated? Because people seem to think it was, which is a bit of a, what about the artist that would have been doing it? That's gone out the window then if it is AI generated. Because the same they did with Secret Invasion, it was an AI generated start sequence, an end sequence.
Yeah.
Somebody's lost out on a job there.
I remember when I had to draw reflections in art college and they sent us to the V&A library and we sat on the floor getting a numb ass for a fortnight. And so we went and drew armor and glass and things. And what you realize in the end is you're actually drawing the building as it's distorted as some kind of anamorphic projection. That's what a reflection is. It's a distorted picture of something over there. I wonder if you could go into the AI and look at the reflections. Because it's not actually rendering the reflections, is it? It's taking bits of images and it's mangling them together. So I wonder at some point someone's going to go, that's a reflection of my cat and my grandfather clock in that Marvel poster. And then the shit will hit the fan, won't it?
Well, I mean, it already has started controversy just from the fact that why are they doing it that way? Why wasn't it an actual artist creating it? They've kicked back and said it was, but there's certain things in there where you've got the same face used twice on the poster and things like that, and you start thinking that's just somebody with bad Photoshop skills more than anything else. It could just be a quick fix, not necessarily down to an AI generated image.
And we're back.
Yep.
And it's up to 31% encoding that previous thing, which is quite good. Yes, that whole Photoshop Marvel poster thing, that inspired me to think of what my friend Mark said on LinkedIn. And he's a editor for film and TV programs and things. And he was discussing the point that there's no longer roughs. There's just like one final edit or one rough, one composition. And most people are just looking at it going, yep, that's it then. Whereas roughs in the old days used to be really rough with, some scenes weren't done and they'll throw in a sketch in the middle, or there'll be a blank bit with sound with some text on it because they were still in progress. But now roughs don't really exist. So it takes me back to the Marvel poster. Is it getting vetted? Is it really going through critique for
this is the thing.
Stuff? Yeah.
I think people have jumped onto everything's AI generated. Oh, look, he's got 5 fingers. Oh, look, he's got 14 toes. Must be AI. Not necessarily. They're looking at one little section on it and going, oh, they've done that for this. That's not necessarily the case. As you say, perhaps somebody just didn't notice that he forgot to do a final little touch up on something. Because I don't think it was AI generated. I can't see a lot of the key elements that you would see in most generated content. But there is more of it around. And even on Instagram, I sent up a picture of an archer that somebody got completely wrong. And everybody's going, oh, AI can't do it properly. It wasn't. It was a photo shoot.
Yes,
so people automatically assume, oh, that was AI. It's not. It's difficult for people that don't work in the industry to understand when something isn't generated. It is a real photograph. It is a real image somebody's created, because there's too much AI generated and too much talk about it's so quick, it's fake, and people don't understand when it is or when it isn't.
Yeah. Just trying to find the poster. Here we are. Let's see if I can share it. Share. Is it that?
There we go. Yeah. So if you look, there's a woman with glasses right to the left of the number 4 on the Fantastic Four poster, where it says "We love Fantastic Four." Just underneath, there's a woman with glasses.
Yeah.
Now look at the back corner of the same flag.
Just panning it. Hey, just panning about. Yeah. So that's that woman there with the glasses.
Yeah. And look back, and there she is again.
Oh, at the back.
Go to the left. There.
Yeah.
Same woman.
It is.
She's faded, but it's the same.
And those glasses look like they're it looks like the left side of her head's slightly missing too.
And I got a feeling that's the same woman at the front. Half of her face is covered, but it looks almost like the same one. That one.
That one.
No, not that one. The one with the glasses on the front with the orange sleeve. There's parts of that looks like a very similar image. It just looks like they've taken some of the detail out. Because you can't see most of her face. So I'm thinking, have they modified the same image?
Yeah, the glasses are missing, aren't they? Zooming in,
see what I mean? It's
doing a funny scaling thing, but yeah, the glasses are missing.
Yeah, see, it's a bit strange. I think the whole image, I think, is rushed more than anything else. Not necessarily AI generated. I'm not convinced it's AI.
This guy with a hat doesn't have the right depth of field contrast on him.
No, exactly. There's too much, and even on the left as well, you've got that guy with a hat on there. And there's something funny going on the back of his hat. The brown one on the left.
Up there.
Far left, right on the edge.
Yeah.
There. There's something funny going on there as well. And again, he doesn't fit with everybody else around is kind of toned down a bit, and he stands out too much.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's been done very well. As you say, is anybody checking this?
I mean, whose body?
This is very good.
Whose body and hand is this, and where is their head?
That's the hat.
This beige
kind of
coat.
Yeah, that's his hat. That's his hat.
The brown hat. His body, even down here in the bottom.
Yeah, it's just hidden. It's not very well done, is it? I'm not.
That's
you can kind of see a bit of it, but it's not.
Yeah.
It looks almost like he's twisted too much. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange composition. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
And the text on the posters, Yeah, well, if it's meant to,
Right. And the other thing, look at that guy's hand holding the flag on the left-hand side. How many fingers has he got?
1, 2, 3.
See, this is why everybody went, oh, AI, straight away. Look at his hand. But the rest of the hands are okay. So I don't think it's AI generated in that respect. I just think people have been making mistakes on this poster. I still think this was a rough draft. I don't think it was a final one.
Do you think this was, oh God, we haven't done the post for our Friday? Quick, someone
Yeah,
knock something
quite
together.
easily. But whoever it was, I don't think they're very good at it, or they
Uh,
just didn't have enough time to check it.
This lady with the glasses, who
Mm,
is also behind the poster, but not actually behind
yeah,
the poster because her face is slightly nudging into the poster. I think she's at the back here as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think a couple of
And
them
over
just
there.
keep appearing. Yeah, you do start noticing more and more of the same things, don't you?
Well, I don't mind if it's AI, if as long as it only took them 3 minutes and they're charging me
Yeah,
for
but then
3 minutes and not for 3 days.
but it is back to that whole argument of people losing jobs when it's not very good anyway. I mean, I feel worse if it's not AI generated, to be honest, because I think there's too many mistakes on it. But it is that argument of the same as they like doing the title sequence and things by doing it in AI. It's not going to the people whose job it would have been. The same happened when they went to 3D computers for special effects. All those
Yeah,
people that do it manually out of work straight away.
I
So
know.
this is the worry with it.
But dear old John Knowles brought it back. Visual
Yeah,
effects guy at ILM. And
exactly. It's good to see.
he's brought it back to the point where they're scanning the models to get the textures for some of the 3D they actually do use.
Yeah, which I think is the right way to do it. They're also talking about a new Gremlins movie, but they're still going to stick to the original puppeteering rather
That'd
than
be good.
doing 3D graphics, which would be nice. It would be nice.
These links on the chain here to that poll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there's elements in it you start going, is it auto generated or is it somebody putting the time into it? I've got a feeling it's a combination. I think somebody's generated bits and pieces and then a bit of a Photoshop. Let's put it all together.
Surely
I don't think the whole thing's generated.
surely there's going to be an AI search engine where you can go, I think this picture's AI. Could you reverse engineer and give me a mood board of all the component images this could have
Yeah.
used? That must be there as well. You must be able to run the AI in reverse and go, please, yeah, reverse this back. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a shame that they went down that road and made a poster that was not great. It doesn't really tell you anything. It just, again, is it
No.
just publicity one that just for a quick post, as you say, last minute? We need a social media post for this.
Yeah,
The
the whole
trailer was
thing.
quite good. That's the annoying thing. And now this has overtaken
Mm.
the publicity. Is oh my god, have you seen the poster? Rather than that was a really good trailer.
I know, and they should be thinking about their entire brand and their ethos, shouldn't they, and their quality of output, which um,
Yes.
which is a real challenge because if you're Marvel and you have the tone and the look and the colors and all that kind of thing sorted out, and then someone says, "But in the 1950s," that's where the real challenges come, don't they? How do I do 1950s but with Marvel?
Have
You know,
you seen the trailer?
no, no, little
You
bit.
need to see the trailer. Oh, excuses. No, you need to see the trailer to
All right.
understand how well they've actually put it together. It's I'm quite impressed that they've managed to get as far as they have with it. It's good. And Ben Grimm looks better than the other versions. He's more comic book accurate,
Mhm.
definitely. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there.
Yeah,
And
what?
Galactus is in it.
Yes, I watched Moon Knight. Is it Moon Knight?
Yes. Moon Knight, yes.
Think I'm three-quarters of the way through. I found it quite stressful to watch and it's slightly going insane with where am I?
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, it's a good show. I'm waiting for season two.
that,
Not going to be done quite yet,
that-
but
yeah. I mean, the continuity on those whole time travel, other worlds, doppelganger things, they really did well because it must have been really hard to film that and write it and bring it alive and
I
for it to
really
make
enjoyed bits of
sense.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this it, I think they've made some really good shows. They've made some that weren't quite as good. Like the animated ones they did, the What If were quite good, apart from the new season.
Oh
The
yes.
new season is not up to much.
What's the one I watched where they were like gods traveling? and had been there forever. Marvel Legend.
Eternals.
Yes,
Yes.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, and again, it's got one of those bad reputations because the small number of people start slamming it. Oh, it's rubbish, like they do every time.
No, I love the
But
whole
I'm glad
idea of
it's
the planet
you know.
coming alive. That was incredible. Yeah.
Well, that's the character that they basically froze inside the Earth is now going to be making an appearance in the new Captain America film
All right.
because it's a new material that everybody wants.
Yeah.
This
I
big
love that
hand and
whole.
head sticking out of the planet,
Yeah. But wasn't it generated by the deaths of all the people on the planet? All the life forces went towards it.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Which makes some kind of sense, doesn't it, before we get too religious? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hang
believe
on.
I believe
I
there's
was
a
going to say,
hero in every planet.
well, see, when you start saying the whole planet was generated to make this being, I just start thinking the number 42.
Yes,
It's a
it's a good
giant
one, that.
computer.
Yes. You can divide it by 7 6 times.
Yeah, well, there we are. I'm no good at maths. No point asking me.
Yeah. I'm good at maths when I don't try and work things out. Sometimes the number just pops into my head and it's right. But when
Yeah,
I do it
that's the way.
longhand, I don't finish.
Nah, nah, I get confused by it. The greatest accomplishments I've had in maths is playing darts because that really taught me how to use maths correctly.
I bet you
Just
can add up
adding up
yeah,
all the numbers.
bet you can add up your arrow count quite easily.
Oh, well, only if I'm shooting in the higher numbers. When you start getting into the lower numbers, because when you go to a competition, you're normally scoring everybody on the target.
Hmm.
And as long as you keep into the tens, the nines, the eights, it's easy because
Yeah.
you go right. 6 arrows, maximum score each arrow is a 10, so that's out of 60, and then you count backwards. Right, that's
Yes.
2 off there because it was an 8. 1, right, that's a 9. Right,
Yeah.
okay, that's 3 off it. That's 57 done. But if you've got ones and threes and fours and
Yeah.
sevens, and it's like, oh god, here we go.
Yeah. Isn't there an app
It
for
makes it more
that? You
complicated.
just
Yes,
point it
I
at the
use an app
target.
actually. We've actually got on some tournaments you go to. We've actually got they give you basically like a little iPhone that's got
Mhm.
the app built into it,
Oh,
so you can put the numbers in, but you still have to do a paper version at the same time, so you can compare them to make sure it's right.
all right.
So it's because on if you're doing a world record status, you have to have 2 copies of everything to make sure it tallies up at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are ways around it, but I try not to do the scoring if I can help it because I'll always get it wrong. It's not good.
We're just trying to find a picture. Let's see if it's public of your shooting. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to log in. I just want to look at it. Sharing screen, just a sec. I'm just gonna look at share that. Right, so I'm looking at this one down here in the bottom left. Let's zoom in.
Yeah.
You see that arrow that's outside in the red?
Yes.
I've seen that a few times. You know what I'll do? I'll throw that arrow away, mate.
Well, actually, I think you'll find it's still touching the lines. As long as it breaks that black line between the red and the yellow, it classes as the
Okay.
yellow.
All right. I'm sure it
It's called
makes
a
an
line, a
appearance
line cut.
somewhere else. I'm sure I've seen it.
Yeah, he always does. Oh, there's that photograph where I'm saying with the archer there,
Yes,
with
this one.
all the lighting and the bows backwards, and people go, "No, it's rubbish AI." It's not. Somebody actually
Oh,
did a photo shoot.
zoomed in
Whoops.
too much. Yeah, it's not
Yes, that's a
zoomed
real
very well,
photo
is it?
shoot. So, and the one above it as well. The bow's
Oh,
backwards.
yes,
The
that's the
string's on
one.
the wrong side
Yeah. I looked at
because
the
those
bottom one and
tend to
went,
go the other
oh,
way.
that's nice. And I didn't think about AI. And I looked at the top one. I went, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah,
I
but they've
often
done
go
the
out
same
in
with
my
bow
suit
pitches.
with a bow. Yeah.
That's just weird. I mean, you look at it. What they've done is they've turned the bow backwards in his hand, and the string is on the wrong side because the way the limbs curve,
It
because they go
is.
that
Yeah.
way. You then
Yeah.
put the string on it because it bends that way, so it has to actually bend the other direction. So
That's the
where they are
kind.
now, the
Yeah.
string's on the wrong side. The string should be on this side because it pulls them back.
Yeah. There's no
So it's the same
recurve,
on the
is
bottom
there?
one. They've
Yeah.
just somebody that knows nothing about archery has picked up a bow, put the string on the wrong side. Right,
Mm.
hold that back. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean,
But they did
what?
exactly the same when they were doing the publicity when Disney were doing the publicity for what was the name of the film where she's a redhead that does archery?
Brave. Heart.
Brave,
Brave. Yeah.
Brave. So they did a photo. They did publicity. They had a woman dressed up in the same outfit, carrying a bow that was being strung backwards, and she's
Yeah.
holding it wrong. You think at least do the research if you're going to have somebody dressing up as the character. It
Yeah.
was awful,
This is
but
the kind of
you
bow
know,
that your uncle buys you when you're 4, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
So
Yeah.
you don't
So you
hurt
can see that
anything.
it's kind of difficult because everybody just jumps on the, oh, it's all AI generated. It's photographers and studios not doing research
I
and
mean,
getting
look at the
things wrong.
photo to the left. That's AI generated. You never get an arrow like that in the
Yeah,
back of another
exactly.
one.
Yeah, at 50 yards.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
It would have been more impressive if both arrows were mine, but unfortunately, the other one was my friend's.
How was it? Well,
Whoops.
even more of a permutation, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, luck of the draw, isn't it? And at least it was in the middle, so that's something.
Yeah. It's almost like the lottery. I expect as higher numbers than the lottery.
Yeah,
Chances of
yeah,
that
exactly.
happening. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
you
the
do see
one.
it. You do see it.
Mm.
Doesn't happen that often, but yeah, it does
Oh,
happen.
it's all good, isn't it?
Oh
Just
yeah,
looking around. I finished my ellipses job, but I don't know if I got a photo of that somewhere. I know I uploaded a huge amount to OneDrive this morning because the old phone was full again.
I've got mine auto backing up to Dropbox, so all my photographs automatically get uploaded there. They get
Yeah,
uploaded on the cloud drive as well, and I've got them so they store on the cloud drive and they're not stored on my phone for most of the
I
time.
can't get that to work, iPhone iCloud with your photos. It just doesn't want to do it for
Mine
me.
does. It just means I don't have to worry about space because it automatically backs everything up, and
I
they're
know
not
it
kept on your phone.
I know it synchronizes, but it's not clearing off my phone. And for an
Ah,
IT
is it?
guy, I hate being
See,
baffled by things.
on mine, I've still got them on there, but only to view. You don't realize the difference as long as you've got good internet connection wherever you go. You don't really see any difference, but they automatically store everything straight on the cloud. They're not stored on the phone.
Oh, so it's just thumbnails like OneDrive and Dropbox.
Well, I wondered that, but it's still they're virtually there. You're not waiting for any download time. So I've got to look at how it's working because it doesn't seem to be taking up any space on the phone. Because I've got a lot of space on there, but I also take a lot of photographs.
Yeah.
So they're all there. Yeah, it's weird. I'm not sure how it works. I'll have to look into it. Because I've got 4,287 live photos, 750 videos. So I've got a lot on there.
Yeah, it's all
How
arrows,
much?
isn't it? It's all
Yeah,
archery.
a lot of it is. Well, I've
Yeah.
got a load from a concert we went to that my daughter wanted me to record absolutely everything,
All right.
as
So
you do. You
has she
know,
watched it all?
yeah, I sent it to her, and she recorded every single act and every single song because she wanted it for later, sort of thing.
Oh, well, that's all right then, isn't it?
So
That's
she enjoyed
great.
it. Yeah, I mean that's the main
Oh,
thing.
here we are. Is that?
Right.
I'm
So
sure I
my
put.
storage on my phone. Yeah, see, I'm not using it for backup or anything else. I'm just doing saved on iCloud, 13,768 photographs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so iCloud Photos is turned on, iCloud Drive is off. So it's only the iCloud photos I've got turned on and saved to iCloud preferences.
Yeah.
That seems to make the difference. And my storage, yeah, I've got plenty left. Hardly used it. And what about on my phone? How much storage have I got left on there?
I know. So where do all the hours go? Why do I not seem to have any time?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? So, right, storage on my iPhone, I've only used up 113 gigabyte. So I've still got 142 gigabyte left. My photographs takes up almost nothing because it's automatically backing everything up. It doesn't store them on the phone.
I'll just have to recheck it.
Yeah, I think go into your iCloud one and just click on store to iCloud, but just on photographs.
Yeah.
It makes a difference, like I say, because I never run out of storage now. It used to be, I mean, I take that many photographs.
Yeah, I do too.
It used to fill up quite quickly, but now it's taking up such a small amount.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to look at these things because maybe I shouldn't show them online yet.
Yeah.
So it goes. Right. That's all been good. We should call this talking about stuff or something because
Yeah.
I find it quite interesting. I don't know if anyone else will, but I love the way we segue
Yes, we've got it somewhere then,
between
haven't we?
things.
Oh,
Yeah.
the other thing, I've got a load of videos I did for Archery, and the Archery shop is no longer there. So, do you want to add those to the site and everything else? A load of videos about archery. I mean, I don't know if it's stuff we want. We just want lots of content, or I don't know what we want to do.
No, I
Something to think
don't.
about.
But I enjoy doing that.
Yeah. That's what I
Whatever
thought.
it is.
Yeah, because there's a bit of footage. There's 4 or 5 videos, so got to be stored somewhere. I've got them. I've just got a YouTube channel. I've just dumped them on just so I've got copies of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's an option, on a YouTube
Yeah.
channel, and just adds more content to it in different streams, and
It's that whole problem when you're out at the dinner party and people go, and what
Yeah.
do you do? And I go, mainly
Shall I
because,
tell you what I don't do? That'll be quicker.
yeah, I'm not an accountant. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
and I'm not a clown or
yeah,
politician. Same thing. Yeah,
yes, yeah, yeah. And I go because perhaps because firstly I find it really difficult to convey the complex stuff we do all the time.
yeah.
And then quickly after that, I have the thought of they won't understand what I'm saying, followed
Yeah.
by they'll think I'm lying
Yeah.
because it's too unreal, some of the stuff we've done over the last 40 years or
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah, you just look at all the different jobs you've had. I mean, my
Mm.
first proper job was working in a cinema.
Mine,
Projectionist, manager, everything.
mine was working in a gentleman's, I
We
don't
better stop that there.
know, gentleman's clothing store where they
Yeah.
did
Oh,
suits
right.
and
Yes.
everything.
So you
Yes.
had to put
Suits you,
your
sir.
hand up and down
Yeah.
people's legs. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know the sort. Yeah.
And
Wash
then I
your hands,
worked in
sir.
my uncle's fabric shop as a kind of junior stock man, filling all the shelves and everything.
I just remember there was a job I did when I left in between school and college through the summers.
Mm.
I worked at a place that made all the props and everything for shop windows. So they did all the stands and everything else.
Oh, that's
I
great.
worked in there. We did sanding, spraying, all
Yeah.
sorts of. You can name an odd job, and I had to do it. Silk screen printing, everything, and I was
Mm.
paid what £2.50 an hour. We worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I
Yeah.
did that for the whole summer for 3 years,
Oh,
every
that's
summer.
good. Yeah.
And
I
it was a good
worked at,
experience. I mean, you're working in a workshop. You're doing a bit of everything. It was
yeah.
just general sort of dog's body. Somebody wanted something done, I did it. If they want me to go and pick up something in the car, I'll go and pick it up. If they want me to do some sanding, fine. And then when you go to the spray booth, they say, right, hold that, and they just spray it while you're holding it.
No,
Right,
yeah.
put it over there.
In your general direction. Yeah.
Yeah, none of this health and safety.
I used to have to clean out the spray booth and all the filters
Yeah,
and climb up the chimney like a Victorian
yeah,
chimney boy or something. And occasionally there was so much paint on it, you had to cut it off with a knife, and it would be like, I don't know, almost an inch thick. And it would
yeah.
be full of layers of multiple colors, a bit like the sand you get in a vial at the beach.
Yes. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was incredible. But I used to be an architectural model maker. Yes, and
That's
I
good
had to
fun.
do the sandwich run in the mornings. God, I hated that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the best, is it?
Yeah.
But somebody's got to do it. And when you're starting on the ladder,
I used to work in Smith's Crisps warehouse somewhere in North London. And I really enjoyed that because I thought I was driving a load lifter from Aliens.
Yeah.
I love driving a forklift truck. There's something about them. Just incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, you start thinking back at the jobs. I mean, the job I had then when I finished college, I worked again, it was, I did it over like Christmas and summer and things like that, was working in a place that manufactured CDs and DVDs.
Mm.
And I'd actually go to the machine where they manufactured the disc, and they come on a big stack, on a big spike like this, about 100
Yes.
discs or 150
Yeah.
discs. And you'd have to carry it, put it on the trolley, then take it to the print room, and then
Yeah.
they'd print it, and then you take it from the print room and put it in the packaging area.
Yeah.
And that was quite a good fun job, because then from
Inside the
that,
factory.
yeah, it was really bizarre one, because we did a lot of Microsoft discs, Apple OS discs, and all that kind of thing. Music CDs, because they originally started as a music company making LPs and stuff, but then progressed to CDs and then DVDs eventually.
Yeah.
And then I worked for a place very short term that did the glass backs on one-armed bandits and things like that. With
All right.
all the graphics on. So
Yeah.
I'd actually stand at one end of a dryer. The guy would print it. I'd put it on the dryer and then take it off the other end and then put it back on the printer to print the next color.
All
And I
right.
didn't last long at that, because that was an awful job. It was,
Mm.
it was mind numbing. And then from there, I went back to the place where I was just carrying the discs and started working in their repro department.
Ah.
Just suddenly, oh, you know computers? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So I got to use the printer. So I used the printers as well. So I was printing the discs and setting them up and everything else. So that was quite good for what I do now. It just seemed to be, I've always worked where there's been print going on. I don't know why.
I
I
had a
never
job.
really considered it.
No. So you just kind of fall into these pathways, don't you? And looking back, it all seems logical, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what, because I mean, I never wanted to do graphic design or anything like that. It was always animation and model making. That's all I was interested in. But all the jobs have always been circling around. There's print going on with this, you know, touching up images or using the actual print process or anything. It's just, you just fall into it. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Life. Don't talk to me about life.
Yeah. Just thinking about some jobs I had. Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be in that book, which of course I've got a folder all set up with the template and everything and written some notes and everything, but too many hats on. But it'll be quite good. Oh, I've scanned all the photos for it as well.
Yeah.
One day, just as well I'm going to live to 150, isn't it? I'll get all these things finished.
I was to say live to 150, or do you mean start this when you're 150?
No, not at all.
You never know, do you?
Right.
Anyway, I think we better call that an ending, because I've got stuff to get on with, as usual.
Me too. It's been an hour and 20 minutes, which was lovely. Good chat. I'll try and edit this one together and see what it looks like.
I was going to say, you might as well, didn't you? It's worth doing. Yeah. All right, then.
All right, then.
Okay.
See you soon. Bye.
Catch you later. Bye.